Coming up next on Good Morning El Paso, 3 weeks after the deadly Twin Peaks shootout, hundreds of bikers rode to Waco to arrest of 170 bikers.
They could be literally anywhere. We're leaving no stone unturned, but they will be found and apprehended.
Also, an urgent search is happening right now for 2 convicted killers who escaped from prison.
Still no arrests this morning in the deadly stabbing in Las Cruces that left 1 man dead.
Live, where news comes first. From the Mesilla Valley and Las Cruces to El Paso and the borderland. This is ABC7's Good Morning El Paso.
A very good morning to El Paso, Las Cruces, and Juarez. I'm Stephanie Valle.
And I'm Hillary Floren. Good morning, everyone. The time now is 6 o'clock on your Monday morning. Let's check in with Crystal. She says some big changes are on the way.
Yes, and hopefully some that don't involve humidity, Crystal.
I wish I could say that no humidity today, but we're looking the opposite. Still humid, still chances of rain, still warm outside. This morning we are tracking clouds and radar. A little bit of activity on the board here, but most of it is to the south and to the east of us. We've got scattered showers possible later this afternoon, this morning. If anything, it's going to be very light and drizzly in nature. As you can see, that green that's down to the south of the international border is very broken up, and it will usually break apart even more so as it tries to make its way over the border, which again is why we're talking light to scattered chances of rain in today's forecast, like we've seen the last few days. As for your temperatures, we're at 78 now in El Paso. It feels like 79. That's thanks to the moisture, that heat that we're feeling from the relative humidity at 46%. Into Las Cruces, we're at 69 degrees. Our wind is just 3 miles per hour. Could be a bit breezy later on today, but otherwise our focus is all about those rain chances. We'll talk more about that coming up in just a few minutes.
Okay, Crystal, thank you. Without ever chanting a word, bikers made sure they were heard. Hundreds of bikers from across Texas gathered yesterday in support of those still locked up after last month's deadly shootout in Waco. 9 people died and 18 more were injured in the bloodshed at a Twin Peaks restaurant there. Police initially arrested 177 people, dozens of whom are now out on reduced bonds. Riders circled in front of McLennan County Jail to show support for the more than 100 bikers still behind bars.
Yeah, there's a lot of people just innocent. They were just wrong place, wrong time.
A lot of these bikers were putting these people to the ground or taking them to the ice coolers or taking them to the bathrooms, taking them to safety.
Yep.
And why are they in jail for saving people's lives? You know, if anything, they should be getting awarded.
They ended their ride in front of the courthouse and lined the intersection carrying signs calling out police. Bikers also say the Twin Peaks shooting has hurt the entire biker community and that many are scared to ride in fear of being targeted by police. And also in Texas, a police officer is on administrative leave after an incident of video showing him manhandling a teenage girl.
I told you to stay! Your ass is down on the ground!
This was in the town of McKinney, a suburb of Dallas. Police responded to a pool party after a caller complained that several teens did not have permission to use the pool and refused to leave. The officer placed on leave is seen in the video throwing a 14-year-old girl to the ground face down and appearing to pin her with his knees. And at one point, he pointed his gun at 2 other teens before 2 other police officers intervened.
Well, this sounds like a jailbreak story out of Alcatraz. 2 convicted killers on the run this morning after busting out of a supermax prison in upstate New York. ABC's Elizabeth Herr has the latest on the manhunt in this story that's still developing now.
2 convicted killers, Richard Matt and David Sweat, are fugitives on the run, and this morning authorities are offering a reward of $50,000 for each prisoner for their capture.
They could be literally anywhere. We're leaving no stone unturned, but they will be found and apprehended.
The 2 discovered missing Saturday morning after escaping from New York's largest maximum security prison in upstate New York. The pair using contraband power tools to break free through concrete walls, steel grates, and pipes 6 stories high, eventually crawling out of this manhole and getting away.
It's almost impossible to think that this was done without help from someone both inside and in particular outside the prison.
They are killers. They're extraordinarily dangerous.
Richard Matt serving 25 years to life for kidnapping and beating a man to death, then dismembering him. And David Sweat behind bars for life, convicted of killing a sheriff's deputy, shooting him 22 times. From above and on the ground, an all-out manhunt is now underway. Police sweeping schools, searching houses, and checking cars for the daring and dangerous duo who left behind this note telling authorities to have a nice day. This is the first prison break in the facility's 170-year history, but officials say one of the fugitives, Richard Matt, has actually escaped from another jail before, back in 1986. Elizabeth Herr, ABC News, New York.
And now to the latest from our New Mexico Mobile Newsroom. More details coming out about a deadly stabbing at a Las Cruces house party. The victim is identified as 20-year-old Carlos Adrian Contreras Jr. Doña Ana County Sheriff's deputies tell ABC7 someone stabbed him during a house party at an East Mesa home on the 7500 block of El Centro. Contreras' relatives tell us he graduated from Oñate High School in 2014.
I don't know about this senseless murder that took place with my nephew. The only thing I want to let everybody know is that he was really cared for and loved by his family.
New Mexico Mobile Newsroom spoke with the aunt and uncle of the victim. The victim's mother, understandably devastated, but managed to speak with us on camera, describing her son as a loving man with a lot of ambition. A Las Cruces physician is facing additional federal charges for allegedly overprescribing pain medication. This resulted in the deaths of 4 patients. The U.S. Attorney's Office for New Mexico says 62-year-old Pawan Kumar Jain pleaded not guilty Friday. The indictment says that includes 2 new counts of the unlawful dispensing of controlled substances resulting in death, and a new count of health care fraud also resulting in death. Jane's medical license was suspended in June of 2012 and revoked 6 months later.
New this morning, if you're a veteran who lives in Texas, a state organization wants to hear from you. Voices of Veterans is looking to preserve the countless stories of courage and service. We have Good Morning El Paso's Denise Olivas live with more on how these stories are actually being collected. Denise.
Good morning, Hillary. Every veteran has a story to tell. Whether they were deployed overseas multiple times or never left the USA, it's all part of history. Voices of Veterans is an oral history program organized by the Texas Veterans Land Board. And this is the first time a state agency has ventured into collecting the stories of veterans. The only requirement is that veterans must live in Texas. Manny Rivas was a corporal in the U.S. Marines and served as an infantryman during World War II. He was also from El Paso. His twin brothers served alongside him in the same company during several battles, including the Battle of Peleliu.
They told us it's going to be a 3-day affair. In 3 days, you're going to secure those 9 miles and you're going to be out of there. And we spent there 83 days. In 83 days, we didn't get a hot meal, we didn't take a bath, and we didn't change clothes.
And Manny's story is just one of the many that have been collected already. Most of these interviews are done over the phone, so you can log on to voicesofveterans.org, and there you'll find directions on how to contact the organization. They also encourage that veterans also submit photos if possible, or you can also just check out the website to listen to the stories of veterans across the state. Stephanie and Hillary, back to you.
Okay, an interesting story, Denise. Thank you.
A live look at traffic now. This is I-10 and Prospect. Things looking good. This is downtown. Look how light things are at I-10 in Kansas. We'll keep an eye on traffic throughout the morning for you.
It is 6:09 and President Barack Obama is having a busy day at the G7 summit in Germany today.
That's for sure. The president isn't shying away about discussing current Middle Eastern issues either, including the topic of extreme ISIS militants.
And later, what was once being called Hurricane Blanca is about to make landfall today. How the weekend tropical storm is still bringing severe weather.
And we'll check in with Crystal right now for a preview of our weather. Good morning.
And Blanca is giving us a little effect as well. We're talking chances of rain continuing in the forecast this work week. When will be the best chance of rain? We've got your answer right after the break.
Thanks, Crystal. This is ABC 7, where news comes first.